They wiped out a human colony. Earth's response erased a star system, HFY's story budgeting. The stars over Erevos' colony were silent the night the Kothari fleet arrived. Erevos wasn't a fortress, nor a military outpost. It was a peaceful world, green plains, slow rivers, and cities made of white stone and glass. 10 million humans called it home. Farmers, engineers, teachers, children. At 3:17 local time, the first orbital alarm sounded. At 3:21, the sky turned red. By 3:27, the colony's defense network was ash. The Kothari didn't bother transmitting demands. They came not to negotiate, not to conquer, but to make an example. To show the young, aggressive species that their expansion into Kothari-claimed sectors would be punished. In less than 4 hours, Erevos was gone. No survivors. No transmissions. Only a ghost frequency pulsing through the void, a repeating distress code cut mid-scream. When the data reached Earth's high command, the Terran Assembly convened an emergency session. The footage, intercepted from a drone before it was vaporized, showed everything. Children running. Soldiers trying to fight back with small arms. Orbital bombardment turning oceans into boiling vapor. It wasn't war. It was extermination. The Kothari ambassador appeared before the assembly, bowing with ceremonial arrogance. "This territory was ours for eons," he hissed. "You humans built where you should not have. The matter is concluded." The chamber went silent. Then Admiral Helena Voss stood up, her uniform dark as the void, eyes unreadable. She'd commanded fleets in the Titan campaign, led first contact wars, and seen entire moons cracked open. "Ambassador," she said softly, "do you understand what you've done?" The Kothari smirked, his scaled mouth curling. "We have corrected an error." Helena nodded once. "So will we." Within 2 hours, the Terran Defense Council had invoked Protocol Nemesis, the first time since its creation 143 years ago. It was humanity's final deterrent, a plan never meant to be used. The galaxy had forgotten what humanity could do when it was angry. The Third Expeditionary Fleet, nicknamed the Spear of Dawn, was mobilized from Luna shipyards. 10,000 warships, commanded by Admiral Voss herself. Each vessel carried the mark of vengeance, black hulls, crimson insignias, and weapons that bent physics. The flagship, TDS Retribution, was a kilometer-long dreadnought powered by a twin-core antimatter reactor. It could level continents with a single salvo. For 3 days, diplomats begged Earth to stand down. The Galactic Council threatened sanctions. The Kothari Confederacy laughed. And then, without announcement, the human fleet vanished into slip space, silent, cold, and furious. The Kothari held their empire across 7 systems. Their capital star, Voskar, burned with twin suns and ringed by defense satellites. When their long-range sensors detected human movement, the Kothari High Command assumed it was a show of force. A bluff. After all, no species would risk total war against an empire 10 times its size. They were wrong. At 5:44 galactic time, human ships dropped out of slip space at the edge of the Aldrin sector, the first Kothari-controlled border. Their comms opened with a single-line broadcast in every major language of the Council. Erevos was a colony of farmers. You turned it to glass. Now you will learn what it means to provoke humanity. Then the stars ignited. The human fleet didn't just attack, they erased. Orbital bombardments used tungsten rods accelerated to near-relativistic speeds. Cities became molten seas. Kothari fleets scrambled in panic, but human targeting AI anticipated every move before it was made. No quarter. No survivors. No mercy. The Aldrin sector fell in 2 hours. By the time Kothari Command reacted, the humans had already split their fleet into 3 strike groups, each heading toward a core system. The Kothari tried to surrender messages through council channels, ignored. They sent diplomats. None returned. Inside the Retribution, Admiral Voss watched the holographic map of the Kothari Empire blink with red after red. Her voice, when she spoke, was calm and even. "Do not target civilians unnecessarily," she said. "But if they hide behind shields, you remove the shields. If they fire, you answer. And remember, this is not conquest. This is remembrance." Her officers nodded grimly. Meanwhile, on Earth, the public watched live transmissions from embedded drones. Billions of humans, workers, miners, children, watched their fleets move with cold efficiency. The phrase "Erevos avenged" spread like wildfire across every comm channel. For the first time in galactic history, the Council censored human feeds. They feared what they were seeing. Not rage, but precision. Humanity wasn't destroying for pleasure. They were calculating, methodical, like an organism excising a tumor. 3 weeks in, half of Kothari space was gone. The Kothari's once proud fleets were burning wreckage. Their ships weren't designed for the kind of warfare humans excelled in, chaotic, adaptive, and ruthlessly logical. The Kothari fought like aristocrats, by ritual and rule. Humanity fought like survivors. Every battle became an ambush. Every defeat, a message. Then came the siege of Voskar. The Kothari homeworld was protected by a defense ring spanning an entire orbit. Thousands of platforms, each with antimatter cannons. It was said no fleet could breach it. The Retribution jumped in first alone. Admiral Voss opened comms to the Kothari Supreme Chancellor. "You killed 10 million of ours. We will erase your star. You will be a footnote in history. A warning, not a nation." The Chancellor hissed, scales flaring. "You wouldn't dare. The Galactic Council will never." But Voss cut the channel. Her voice echoed across her ship's bridge. "Helm. Target their suns." The crew obeyed without hesitation. A single device was deployed, Project Helios, a gravitational singularity torpedo. It was humanity's forbidden weapon, capable of triggering a star's collapse. The Kothari ring stations opened fire, a hurricane of light and plasma, but it was already too late. The torpedo pierced the twin sun's corona, vanishing into fusion hell. Seconds later, the first sun folded in on itself. The second began to unravel in gravitational resonance. The binary system destabilized, tearing planets from orbit, ripping fleets apart in sheer tidal force. Kothari soldiers screamed across comms as their world shattered. A blue-white shockwave tore through space. From Earth's deep relay stations, scientists watched the readings in stunned silence. A system that had existed for billions of years was now gone. The Voskar star system, erased like chalk wiped from a blackboard. When the light reached Earth 2 days later, people cheered and wept at the same time. Ending. 3 months after the fall of Voskar, the Galactic Council met in emergency session at Erebus Station, the largest neutral platform in orbit around a dying sun. Admiral Voss arrived, escorted by a dozen human guards in obsidian armor. The other ambassadors avoided her gaze. The council speaker, a towering alien of crystalline skin, spoke first. "Admiral Voss, you have destroyed an entire star system. Billions are dead. The council demands to know, will Earth continue this campaign?" Voss stood still, hands clasped behind her back. The Kothari erased a human colony. 10 million innocent lives. We erased 1 star system in return. The ratio is generous.